What's going on, people? Kimchi Chris here, and welcome to today's video. And for today's video, I wanted to talk about something that is one of my favorite events of the year. And as of the recording of this video, it is early August 2017. And for a lot of people, that means one thing. That means that Dragon Con is right around the corner. That is right, Dragon Con, one of the best, one of the biggest, one of the most exciting conventions that you can and ever will go to. Now, if you're not familiar with what Dragon Con is, it's really hard to summarize in a matter of 30 seconds here, but I'm really going to try because maybe you clicked on this video because it's your first time coming, maybe you clicked on this video because you're subscribed to the channel, who knows, but a very quick version of Dragon Con. Basically, it's a nerd convention, you know, comics, anime, video games, Star Wars, cosplay, all those things, and it has all the things you see at those conventions, you know, panels, guests, more cosplay, of course, workshops, all this stuff. But the thing about Dragon Con is it does it a little bit bigger and it does it a little bit better, and they expand upon a lot of these things. For example, their music. You know, there's always a couple bands at most conventions, at least at most conventions that are worth anything. And while Dragon Con does book a lot of the convention mainstay bands like KimchiChris, The Slants, The Proto Men, P. Under Z, all of these acts that you have seen at a lot of conventions are there. They also book a lot of bands that don't really play conventions but just kind of fit in the mix. They've had acts like the Misfits, Shooter Jennings of all people, Guar, those type of bands. So they really do things up bigger. I mean, Dragon Con is a big event. They are past the 70,000 person mark according to the Wikipedia page on them, and I don't know if that means paid attendance or just warm bodies, including the vendors, guests, all that kind of stuff. But the point is, Dragon Con takes over all of downtown Atlanta, or at least a really good chunk of it, for the Labor Day weekend every year, and it's a really big event. So I figured, since I'm excited as ever about this convention, it's so fun, my favorite convention personally, I figured I would do a video for you guys about some of my tips on how to get to the convention, get through the convention, and have the best convention experience you can possibly have, alright? So let's just get into that. You know, I'm no expert, I'm no mastermind, I'm sure there's a lot of stuff I haven't discovered at the con, but these are 5 tips. So I've kind of put it together into 5 different categories of things that I think can make your experience at least a little bit better. You know, you gotta win some and you gotta lose some, but I think these 5 tips, if you pay attention, some of them might seem logical, but sometimes people don't use logic when they're at conventions, so keep that in mind. So let's just get right into it. So the first thing I'm going to touch on today are the 2 P's of any big event that should go without saying, but a lot of people neglect these things sometimes, so this is a good place to start. And those 2 P's are you have to plan and you have to pack. Now with Dragon Con, especially if you're coming out of town, coming across the country, driving there a couple hours, anything like that, you have to plan in advance. You can't just say 2 weeks beforehand, I'm going to go to Dragon Con and it's going to be great. You could probably do that if you're local to Atlanta or maybe like an hour away and you don't have to worry about a hotel room, but that's where the key planning is. If you need a hotel room, you gotta do it in advance. You just gotta do it in advance. These hotel rooms at the host hotels pretty much open up a couple weeks after the Dragon Con the year before, so they open up almost a year before, and if you don't buy one immediately, you're probably not getting one. Now, there are a lot of Facebook groups that aid in people getting into rooms and things like that, and if you're really persistent, you might be able to find one last minute, but save yourself the stress and get there, or at least get a reservation early. Now, if you want to be at a non-host hotel, just one in the area, believe me, there are several, you still have to do it pretty far in advance. They still go on sale at least like 10, 11 months, sometimes a year in advance, because these hotels know, let's just get it out of the way, let's get it out of the way early. September is Dragon Con month in Atlanta, so let's just do it. And, you know, it just helps if you plan early. It just helps if you plan early on that. And that goes with everything else for the convention. If you have to get a plane ticket, because people do come from all over the world, get it early. You'll save money on it. For your badge, buy it early. You'll save money on it. All these things are about saving money and saving stress when it gets near the convention, because you're there to have fun. You don't want to be stressed last minute. That's dumb. We all know that people do that, so why not just avoid it from the get-go? I know it sucks to plan something a year in advance, but once you've been to Dragon Con once, in all honesty, you'll want to go back every year. You will want to go back every year, so just get that out of the way early on. And with that, the packing. This is important at this convention, more so than others, because Dragon Con's a long convention. Technically starts the Friday of the con and goes to the following Monday, but honestly, Thursday is the new Friday, and as a result, many people get there on Wednesday. Some people even get there the Monday before it starts and stay for, you know, a week and a half and leave like the Wednesday or Thursday afterwards. So you want to pack accordingly, you know. You want to bring enough clothes to where you don't have to wear anything dirty, because you don't need to smell bad. If you're driving, you know, you might as well bring your own like shampoo, soap, things like that. If you're flying in, that's a little bit different, but there is a 24-hour CVS right in the middle of all the host hotels, so That's very helpful. But yeah, you want to pack accordingly. You don't want to overpack and you don't want to underpack. You know, another thing you have to remember, if you're planning on partying, which you should, and you're of the legal drinking age, bring your own drinks. It's great to buy some drinks at the hotel. The Marriott bar is a really rad place to hang out, but you're going to go broke after like a day of partying if you buy them all there, because they are hotel prices and that's expensive. So bring a couple 24 packs, bring a couple bottles of liquor, whatever it is you want, bring it with you. Same goes with food. Bring snacks, bring beef jerky, bring ramen, whatever. Bring something though sustainable as well. Bring some healthy stuff, because this is going to be a 5 or 6 day long party for you essentially. You can't survive on a Pocky stick and ramen a day like a lot of kids think you can at anime cons. Now this convention has all types of people from the youngest to the oldest, so not everyone has that mentality, but we've all seen it. We've all seen it at these conventions. Eat healthy, you know, with the planning and the packing part. You know, plan on bringing some money for eating, because there's lots of great restaurants in the area, lots of good food. There's no reason to not indulge in some of the great Atlanta cuisine, or even drive, you know, 30 minutes up the road to Duluth, Georgia and get some amazing Korean barbecue. That's something we do every year. Highly recommended. It's nice also to kind of get away from the convention for a little bit in the middle of it. The convention's great, but it's good to be around less people for a little while, so go get some Korean barbecue. That's what I would suggest, and that's really all I have to say on the first topic there. So the second tip I have here, I've already touched on, I just touched on it, and it's kind of like I'm rewinding a bit, but I'm going to elaborate quite a bit more on it. The second tip I have here is to save money. Save money, save money, save money, save money. Be it buying your stuff early, like your badge and what have you, or just saving a lot of money to bring to the convention, because this is going to be a money draining event. Remember, you are there for anywhere from 3 to 6 days, and you've got to eat out, you've got to get water, you've got to get alcohol, you've got to survive, and it's going to be a lot of money, and that's not even including all the money you're going to want to drop in the dealer room, the artist alley area. If you want to meet any of the famous people and get pictures and autographs, those all cost money as well. You got parking, you got gas, you got everything. So save some money for this event. Some people save year round and then they go there and blow a couple grand, and you know what, I don't think that's a terrible idea, because it's easy to do. It's also fun to go to the convention and not have to worry about money. I have had people hanging out with me before that went down there with like 50 bucks and just barely scrapped by for the weekend, and honestly it was the friendships they made and people they knew that really helped them out. But you don't want to do that. And you know, I would say if you're not planning on spending any money in the dealer room or on autographs or anything like that, you still want to go down there with at least food money of somewhere in the like $400 to $500 range, because it's a lot of money to eat in the area, but it's also really good food in the area. It's worth it. Don't just get McDonald's every day. Your body will shut down. You know, there's no reason for that. And you'll have a great time if you have some great food. So save some money early for great food, great stuff in the dealer's room, and just to have an amazing weekend. And tip number 3 expands upon what I was just talking about, except, you know, expanding upon it more. I did these all in a certain order for a reason. While you're there, you want to eat, sleep, and shower. Everybody says this at every convention ever, but you gotta remember it. This is Atlanta at the end of August, early September. It's gonna be hot, it's gonna be smelly, and you don't want to die from dehydration, not eating, not sleeping, whatever. The convention will wait when you're sleeping. It's okay to get, you know, 6 hours of sleep a night. You know, you don't have to get your normal 8 or 9, that's fine. But you gotta get your 6 in, you know? You can't be sleeping 2 hours and thinking you're gonna party the whole next day and survive. You can't do that. And you gotta eat healthy. We just talked about this, but you gotta eat some healthy food there because of all the heat and all the sweat. And, you know, you gotta shower. You're gonna get hot and smelly. There's a lot of people there, but I say shower twice a day if you can. Shower twice a day, you know, brush your teeth, comb your hair, do your stuff, put on some deodorant, spray yourself down with the Katy Perry body spray, the Hello Kitty body spray. I don't care what it is, the perfume, whatever. Just do it, please. It'll help everybody out. We'll have a great time. We'll party a lot harder, and it'll just make you feel a little bit better throughout the weekend. And tip number 4 falls right into that category. Don't overdo it. And you know what I mean by this. We've all been at these conventions or music festivals or any type of event where somebody's trying to do everything there. When the schedule comes out for Dragon Con, you're going to see 6,000 things you want to do. You want to dance with a Jedi. You want to hang out with Sailor Moon. You want to catch a Pokemon. You want to go up to Stan Lee and have a Thanksgiving dinner with him, you know. But the thing is, you can't do it all. You're going to see everything on the schedule. And what's great is they do put out an app that you can have on your phone where you see everything and you just like, you highlight what you want, it's all there on the schedule. But the thing on that is you're gonna see it all and you're not gonna be able to do everything. So what I recommend is pick, you know, maybe 1 or 2 things each day that you have to do. You just have to do them. If you don't do them, you will implode, basically. Pick those things and stick to them. And keep in mind, there's a chance you still won't get to do those things because there's a lot of people there, as I touched on earlier. There's over 70,000 people that go to this event, okay? Some of these panel rooms that are there, not all of them, there's some big, huge ballrooms that hold like in the thousands, you know. But some of these panel rooms hold 200 people, okay? So if there's 2,000 people, or even 1,000, or even 500 that are wanting to go to that event, some of them might get in line very early. So with the whole not overdoing it thing, you also don't want to waste your whole weekend waiting in lines. Some people do that. Some people will want to get in line 10 hours before something happens. 10 hours before Voltaire plays, you know. Don't waste your whole day waiting for one event, unless it's really just like the end of the world if you don't go. The longest I've ever waited for anything at Dragon Con was the first year I went. I waited like an hour for one of Alice Cooper's Q&As. And guess what? It was amazing. It was worth the hour wait, but it was only an hour. It was also Alice Cooper. That was my do or die event of the weekend, and I did get to meet him there as well. But guess what? Even if I'd waited till last minute to get in, I could have got in because he was in one of the huge rooms and there was still tons of space in there. So don't overdo it. Don't think that you're going to get to do everything there because you're not. And if you don't cry about it because you're probably going to get to do something else awesome instead. Honestly, some of the better things are the things that have less people at them, some of the more unique events. We went to some cool things before that we just walked by and we said, hey, that's going on. Let's see what's in there. And it was awesome. We saw a George Lowe, Q&A one year. That was awesome. We just kind of walked into it. And a Adventure Time Q&A with all the voice actors one year. Just kind of walked into it. Didn't know it was happening. So don't overdo it, don't overplan, don't overhype yourself because a lot of things aren't going to go the way you want them to, but guess what? All the accidents are going to be amazing because it's Dragon Con. There's nothing bad as far as the programming there. Everything is awesome. And tip number 5 definitely is the most important tip of all. The most important tip of Dragon Con, the most important tip of any convention, but definitely Dragon Con. And honestly, it could relate to what we just said before because when you're doing this, don't overdo it. But while you're there, make sure, in the words of Andrew WK, that you always party hard. Dragon Con is known as the legendary party con. It's huge. There's tons of people. Everybody's drinking. Everybody's partying. Everyone's having a good time. Don't overdo it, as we just said, but have an amazing time. Similar to the first tip of bringing snacks and things with you. Bring your drinks so that you don't have to buy everything at the bar because you want to go to the bar and you want to get some buckets of rum at the Hyatt Hotel, for example, and you want to get some beers at the Marriott, but you don't want to overdo it and pay too much, but you have to party hard. This is Dragon Con and it isn't a requirement. Even if you don't drink, just dance. Even if you don't dance, have a good time at the panels. Partying is a mindset more than anything else. Everybody has a different way of partying and you want to go to Dragon Con and make it the ultimate party for the year for you. If you believe in the party will believe in you, and that's what you want to do. You want to party hard while you're there. You want to have an amazing time, and that's really what the whole weekend's about. You spend a lot of money, have a good time. Don't forget all of it, even though you might forget some of it if you do party pretty hard, but that's okay as long as you take a bunch of pictures along the way. So that's all I really have to say today. I don't want to make this video too long. I feel it's already a little bit longer than, my average video, but hopefully you enjoyed this. If you've never been to Dragon Con, this is just the tip of the iceberg of some of the things you should really prepare for mentally, physically, everything else beforehand. But if you have been to Dragon Con and you have some different tips, leave them in the comments below. Just leave them down there below for anyone that's watching this and has never went, or maybe this is their first year. Leave them down there. Give them some more tips. Tell me how dumb my tips are and how wrong some of them are. That's cool as well, but this is my video and these are my tips. I think this might be able to help some people. Hopefully it was at least a little bit entertaining. If you like the video, just like you've heard in every YouTube video ever, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell so you get the updates. I'm going to do, hopefully, some vlogs at Dragon Con that will get uploaded after Dragon Con because I will be too busy there to try to edit or do anything with anything like that other than filming some of it. And also, as a side note, if you made it to the end of this video and you watch all mine, probably won't be any new content that week because I'll be there. But that being said, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Party hard at Dragon Con, party hard at every other convention you go to this year, next year, last year, whatever. Thank you again for watching so much, and I will see you guys next video.